Hey guys, it's your girl Corporate Carolyn, and I am wrapping up a work day. But there was something that I wanted to say with regards to the election that just happened. And I know a lot of people around the country are either celebrating or they're very upset, maybe even a little depressed. I know that a lot of the media, they were saying that this election was marred by a lot of anxiety for voters that were going out to vote. And I wasn't marred with anxiety. I voted and my candidate didn't win, but that's okay because as a Christian, I actually follow Christ and not whoever is in office. So this morning, when I woke up to the news that Donald J. Trump is our 47th president, I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. And the fact that I prayed when I went and cast my vote, I asked the Lord to let his will be done in the earth and in this country, and that, whatever that may look like, I will go forward with it. And so I woke up this morning with my life going on the way that it always has. Whether Obama is in the office, whether Bush is in the office, to me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I want what's best for this country, and I'm really glad that there's not going to be any insurrection or riot or whatever. But the purpose of this video is to share some thoughts that I had as a Black woman, in case you couldn't tell. Like I said, and for those of you who are wondering, I did not vote for Trump. So don't start, giving me grief or anything like that. But I am a person, and I've been very disappointed as I watched the way this campaign was run, especially as you have input from people like, say, the Obamas, from Oprah, from so many different people that wanted to support Kamala, who I must say, as a lawyer, I mean, she is just top notch in terms of intelligence. I really resented the implication or the direct assassination of her intelligence. She's a very smart woman, and she is a woman of integrity based on what I've seen from her. So any attempts to misalign or malign her character or her person, I think that is petty, as I told a Trump supporter that came knocking on our door trying to tell us about their views, and how they had like this postcard and it showed her looking almost like a demon. It just really did a horrible caricature of her picture. And I told him, I said, that's why some people don't want to listen to you, because you guys are petty, and it would be better if you didn't even put the woman's picture on there. Let your issues define what you are all about, instead of assassinating another person's character or person. And so, but the one thing I wanted to say is that I do kind of understand why the Democrats did not win. I kind of stand in the middle looking at both sides. I can see the good and the bad of both. I don't do something that it seems like Democrats tend to do a lot of times, and that is, you point fingers and you just like assume that everybody who voted for Trump is a certain way. I don't make that assumption, because I actually know people that have voted for him, and some of those people are very decent people, and they're not all ignorant. They're not all people who have not gone to college, or the way the media tries to paint the picture. And there are a lot of people that viewed the economy being more important than the issue of abortion. And that's one thing that I think Democrats got wrong. One, they treat Black people like a monolith, assuming that we all vote the same way. And I've heard, surprisingly, that some Black men that my husband actually spoke against her with actual venom. And I was surprised, because these people are Christians, and I never would have thought that they would have had such bad feelings towards her. But when I saw, the broadcast where Kamala was talking about, well, she was giving a speech, and a Christian young man came in, and I think he yelled out that either Christ was king or Jesus is Lord, something like that. And she made a joke about he was in the wrong rally and that he should go down the hall too. a smaller venue that was going on at the same time, I found that very dismissive as a Christian woman. And like I said, I did not vote for Trump. That didn't make me vote for him, but it made me go, and I wonder how other Christian, especially Christian men in this country, where Kamala said that she would represent all of us, when you hear that type of dismissive thing being said to a person who yelled. Now, if someone yelled out, Allah, is king or something, or spoke from another religion, they might not have gotten that same treatment. So that's one thing that I think the Democrats got wrong, just kind of being dismissive when it comes to Christian behavior, and thinking, and even though like Donald Trump, criminal, check, bad character, third wife, known adulterer, was shown on camera with the Bible turned upside down. So do I think that he represents the Christian faith best? No, I don't think he's a Christian. I don't even know if he believes in Christ. He may not. I have no idea. But the thing of it is that he's not doing anything that makes people think that he doesn't care about, their Christian faith. And a lot of his base may call themselves Christian, even though some of their behavior is not Christian-like or Christ-like. But if those people align with a Christian faith and you're dismissive of that, then do you think they're going to vote for you? No matter how smart you are, no matter what you promise, they're not going to vote for you. And so another thing that, speaking of that, you talk about like trans issues, and I'm looking at my notes because it's so much to think about. I watched TMZ earlier today. They were talking about how, the trans issue was so small, but a lot of Trump's base really promoted the whole concept about men, people who are born as males, competing in women's sports. A lot of those people don't agree with that. If you think about the fact that your daughter is your biologically born daughter is competing against someone that was born a male, in a biological standpoint, that you're fighting someone that actually has a penis. A lot of Trump's base, they don't want that. And they don't want to be told that they're transphobe because they don't agree with you. And that's a mistake I think Democrats are making, that they assume that just because they believe something, that everybody has to believe it. I think that everyone has a right to their own opinion. And if a person doesn't want their daughter competing with someone who was born a male with a different body structure, then they have the right to say that, and they should be heard, and they shouldn't be labeled as a transphobe. And if I'm being perfectly honest, that's what it feels like, even to me, watching, who's not a Trump supporter. It feels like the message that they are being given is, you are wrong, you are bad people, and you're a transphobe. Now, why is it that it's always a phobia if you don't agree with somebody? Also, we were talking about whether or not a biological male, or someone who was born with a penis, or may even still have a penis, and you want it to be okay for that person to go into a bathroom with women. Even though I'm not a Trump supporter, to me, someone with a penis in the same restroom with me is alarming and very concerning, because I view your penis, whether you identify with a woman or not, I view it as a dangerous weapon, a concealed weapon, and I don't want that in the same restroom with me. Why can't people say that without that being labeled as a phobia? In that case, it could be a phobia for me, because I'm scared of anyone's penis other than my husband's. I don't want you in the restroom with me. Leave me alone. And so I think people have the right to say those things. And some of Trump's base felt like they couldn't say what they thought. And along with that, also, talking about the whole gender thing, like where all of a sudden you're forcing people. It's one thing for you to think that you are of a different gender and you want to identify by different pronouns. You want to be a they or a them, even though you're a singular person. The fact that you want to force people to call you they when you really are a he or a she. Pick one, but you want to force people to call you they and them. That's alarming to people. To me and to Trump's base, that's saying that your way of thinking is wrong and you're a bad person, and so we are right and you are wrong, and we are decent and you are not. And that is off-putting, to put it mildly, and it's also alienating. And so that kind of geared up his base and made them say, enough of this. We don't want this. We don't want to be forced on LinkedIn to say she, he, or her in multiple forms, to say what your pronouns are. A lot of people don't support that, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you respect people, don't cause them any harm, allow them the pursuit of happiness, and don't affect their liberties, you should have the right to think what you think, to feel what you feel, without being told that you're a bad person or throwing a phobia on the end of that. And also, like in supporting the LGBTQIA, it seems exclusively, it's good to support them and to say that they have the right to live their lives the way that they want to. If they want to get married, that's fine. But you don't have the right to, like, say, force a Christian baker to do a cake with two men on the top or two women. If they don't want to do that, if it's their business, they don't have to do that. But when you start alienating people and making them feel they have to do exactly what you tell them, or like trying to guilt Chick-fil-A into being open on Sundays. That man, the owner of Chick-fil-A, that's his belief. He doesn't want to be open on Sunday, and he shouldn't have to. You don't force Muslims to do things that they don't want to do. And so a lot of the Christians that are in Trump's camp, they're tired of that. And I don't think anyone on the Democratic side wanted to hear that. And they say that they're for democracy, but what those people are hearing is, you're bad people, you're ignorant, you don't have a college degree, you haven't been educated, you're racist. Everyone that supports Trump, I don't believe that they're racist. I just think they have a different way of thinking. Some of them are racist. I'm not saying that they aren't, but not all. And you don't want them to say all Black people, all Hispanic people, all gay people, all transgender people. You don't want that type of criticism, but that's what I feel the Democratic Party did in this particular election, and they think everyone should agree. And then the assumption that everyone is on board with sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukraine, and we can't get our homeless off of our streets. We can't support veterans the way that they should be supported. Anyone that goes to a foreign land and fights on our behalf, and they come back here and they can't find jobs, they can't find housing, I think that that's really bad. And I think that that is a higher priority to me. And then you're surprised when Russia is doing crazy things with us that seem aggressive. If you fund the people that are fighting a country, they view you as the enemy and as if you're fighting them. So don't be surprised by that. And it seemed like they were surprised. You're just sending all of this money to the Ukraine. We have so many issues here in our home. To give you an analogy, we raised two sons, and if we couldn't pay our bills in our home, if we couldn't provide food for our children, clothes for them to go to school, money to pay for them to go to college and what they needed, I'm not going to bring in a bunch of other people whose bills I have to pay. And another thing about the whole abortion thing, I was actually tired, even though I didn't vote for Trump, I was tired of everyone assuming that because I'm a woman that abortion is the only thing that I cared about. If anyone had said, okay, abortion should be supported in terms of like molestation, rape, danger to the woman's life. However, anyone who's using abortion as a means of an afterthought to contraception, we shouldn't be supporting that. People's tax dollars shouldn't be paying for that. Then maybe you might have had a leg to stand on with them, but you just keep forcing abortion, abortion, abortion without any kinds of checks or balances. I think that that rubs some of the people in his base that are Christians the wrong way. I know you want Planned Parenthood supported. I was a fan of Planned Parenthood growing up, and I still think that women should be able to get birth control so that they're not having unwanted pregnancies. But you don't want to overlook that and just automatically jump to abortion as being the only option. And so it just seems that that's just promoted. And I'm 58, so no, I don't care as much about abortion. I would like a balance with abortion where you're talking about contraception as well, and where people are planning pregnancies and not going out, being promiscuous, having sex with random people and saying, whoops, I'm pregnant again and I'm going to kill the baby. And to me, that's murder. If someone kills a woman carrying a child, they are guilty of killing two people. If a woman loses a child, we comfort her and say, oh, wow, you lost a baby. We're so sorry for you. But like with abortion, it's just like, oh, well, it's my body. I have the right to kill the baby. Whether it's 3 months, in their body parts somewhere, no one wants to talk about that. Or like some of the issues that come along with women who have had abortions and they've struggled with that. No one wants to talk about any of those options. They just want to talk about the abortion thing. And so I think that backfired in this particular election. So going forward, I think the Democrats need to think about as a whole, ways to change their way of approaching people, because I believe whoever's in office should, and I pray that Donald J. Trump will try to appeal to everyone and not just MAGA and not, just people who voted for him, because we are the United States of America, but right now it feels like we're the divided states of America, and I hate that because I love this country. This is our home, and we need to, come together and do better for our future generations. And I think there was one other thing also Kamala, why would she start talking about Donald Trump being a fascist? The average person doesn't even remember, they may have studied it in school, but they don't know what that involves or entails. You're not really gaining any points with the American public by calling him a fascist. I didn't really like that he kept calling her dumb and, stupid. I thought that was just as ridiculous as her running around calling him a fascist. And then also, someone on TMZ said something that I thought is true. Donald Trump gives a middle finger to the establishment, and I think that's what he did. To everyone who wants to say you're bad people, you're some sort of phobe, that you're racist, anyone who feels maybe disenfranchised or isolated, not heard. That's who Donald Trump appeals to. And instead of preaching, and I'm really surprised I'm saying this to the Democrats, instead of preaching to those people, we might want to find a way to have like some town halls or discussions on defined commonalities where we can meet in the middle, because that's the only way we're going to make grounds in the next election. And so when I hear the Obamas and different people talking about, that it's just because she's a woman or maybe just because she's black, I really don't think her color had anything to do with it. Being a woman, could have had some issues for other people, but I don't think that was all of it. I think it's some of the things that I mentioned and a bag of chips. It's all that and a bag of chips. And I think that as Democrats, people need to wake up and stop, pointing the finger at those people and realize that we're all, those people, depending on what side of the table you're on, and try to get it right for future elections to come. I think I had, one other thing. TMZ mentioned the whole getting celebrities to stump for you. I don't really think Oprah helped as well as Lady Gaga, Beyonce. Excuse me, they didn't really help that much either. And I know one thing that didn't help me, it didn't help when I saw Megan Thee Stallion, dressed in a beautiful blue suit, but, most of her midriff was out, and I believe that she started twerking. That's not really gaining you any points. So maybe leave the celebrities alone in the future and just, bring the issues, talk to the country as a whole, figure out how we can move together as United States, and then maybe there's a chance in the future. But Kamala, you fought a good fight, and you ran a good race. Also, the border is very important too. And I know I wanted to know how many times has Kamala been to the border, but I couldn't seem to hear that question being answered. And I know she came into the election late, but I think the Democratic Party underestimated the importance of that border. And I think it's easy to do that if you don't live in an area like Texas that's right on that border. I mean, immigration is one thing. Like when people come from Canada, we're checking their passports, we're asking them questions. I know when I've gone to Canada, they're asking me, well, now, how long are you going to stay? Why are you here? Where are you going? And when are you leaving? Those are the questions that they ask, and we don't call them racist. But at our Mexican border, all of a sudden it becomes racist because we want to know, anything about the people that are coming in. It's the same thing with that analogy where I said, where I'm taking care of my children and my family first, I'm not bringing in a bunch of my neighbors where my kids can't eat, where they can't go to school, where they don't have clothes, where we don't have lights or cable or internet or whatever. I can't take on the world's problems. I have to focus on my family first, and then I can help other people. Just letting a mass exodus of people from Mexico in without any kind of checks and balances, that's not racist. To say that there needs to be some measure to limit that, to control it, the same way that we do with other immigrants that come from around the world. And again, to label people as racist. And the streets of Texas and some of those bordering cities are buckling under the pressure. Do we have money to send there so that those people are not out on the streets? No, but we have money to send to Ukraine. And I do see why some of the people in Texas might have gotten frustrated and foolishly, sent people to Martha's Vineyard or to DC to be outside of the homes of the politicians who don't seem to hear them. It feels like the Democratic Party was tone deaf as it relates to the people that Trump with his antics spoke to. So like I said, I really want for this next election for us all to come together as united citizens and rally together so that we can find a way to move forward. So I didn't mean to talk as long, but I do understand why Trump won, I must say. And but I'm not scared. I'm not worried because I follow Christ, and I trust that his will be done in the country. So I'm praying for us as a people, and I don't think Kamala should feel badly about anything that she did. She fought a good fight, and hopefully she'll come back again once the Democratic Party has a chance to look at some of their missteps. Treat it like an IT project where you look at lessons learned, but don't just say those people are uneducated, those people don't have college degrees, those people are racist. I think that that's very limited in your belief, or just because she's black, just because she's a woman. Those are not the only reasons why Kamala didn't win. So hopefully that adds value, and I'll be praying for all of us as a country as we move forward into the new year and into this new administration. May God bless America. And that's all I have to say about this. Hopefully that helps somebody out there to adjust to all that's going on. But in the meantime, you guys take care. Have a good one.